Look at that face. Look at that face.
Look, I know.
Okay,
I
okay,
know.
okay. Everybody, be prepared. We've got our hands full with this one.
Uh-huh.
He was like, he stuck a second at me, and he just made a face.
Yep, this is going to be a very good show tonight.
Gonna be
Uh,
good. Gonna be good.
and yeah, I'm sure we're all going to have input on this one. This is going to definitely be one to share. We're going to be talking about compassion heals, the compassion heals movement, all kinds of stuff with patient Lee Tomlinson. And we had a snafu of some sort at the beginning of the show. That's why we were starting just a little bit
Call the
late.
brain fart.
And I don't know what happened with the connection or whatever, but we've got him. We're not going to let him go. He's our
Mm-mm.
prisoner now, and
We
he's,
got him handcuffed, ankle cuffed in the green room.
and it's so nice to have Mama D back in her little spot over here. We missed her
Thank you, Bell
terribly.
Canada, for fixing this shit. Okay, my technician, Patrice. Thank you. Merci. Infiniment. Okay, I had my moment. And I didn't swear. I didn't swear. It was all
Oh,
nice.
oh, okay, that was nice stuff. Okay,
Yes, it was nice words.
you know when she speaks French, what we're in for. But all right, let me just play you the video that I made for Lee, the bio video. I'll tell you a little bit about him, and then he's going to be with us as soon as it ends.
Good evening, I'm Gina B. here with Mama D every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the Fox Den. Tonight we have Lee Tomlinson. The life mission of Lee Tomlinson, also known as Patient Lee, is to inspire healthcare professionals to return compassionate care to its rightful place at the forefront of modern healthcare, to benefit patients, their families, the bottom line, and perhaps most importantly, their often suffering, burned out selves. Finding this mission wasn't even remotely easy. Award-winning television producer, movie studio executive and owner, former professional athlete, speaker, and TED Talk presenter, Patient Lee is alive today due to the combination of a lifetime of extraordinarily effective medical treatment and deeply kind, compassionate care. Unfortunately, during a recent battle with stage 3 throat cancer, Patient Lee became painfully aware of the trauma caused by treatment lacking in compassion that drove him to the darkest of depths. What saved him from suicide was a tiny, simple, yet powerful act of compassion delivered by a loving doctor and friend. With his renewed zeal for life and newfound purpose, Patient Lee created the Compassion Heals movement. This movement is designed to reconnect America's 20 million healthcare professionals with the compassion that got them into the healthcare in the first place. Then do whatever it is necessary to prevent the burnout that affects over 60% of these vital caretakers, rendering them unable to provide compassion to their patients, themselves, or anyone else. And finally, once healed of their own distress, to reignite these dedicated professionals and inspire them to redouble their efforts in providing even more compassion than before, all to better heal the patients and the world. Lee has already told his story on more than 200 stages around the world, wearing nothing but a hospital gown. Presented with his unique mixture of humor, compassion, urgency, encouragement, and call to action, Patient Lee is making a difference in restoring compassion to healthcare and to the world at large. This is very important information, and we welcome you to the Fox Den, Lee.
And here he is.
This man in face.
Hello, hello. That is, I have to
Welcome.
say, I've been in Hollywood a long time, and that is just an extraordinary video that you
Aw,
made. I'm blown away by it. I'm
thank you.
serious.
That's our girl.
Thank
It's
you, thank
it's
you, thank you.
it's as good as it gets, and now I have to license it from you. So I hope you don't charge me too much.
We'll
No,
think about it.
Okay.
well, that depends.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening.
That depends. What was that about that condo thing?
Yes, exactly. Right. In Monterey, California, at Pebble Beach, of course.
Ooh,
Oh, very nice.
okay.
Yeah,
We could go visit George.
right. And a lot of
Okay.
people, actually, a lot of people out there are that
Yep.
way. And our own Athena, too.
God, we would torture her.
We could go visit a whole bunch of people. But why we have you here, I mean, we could babble all night long and we're gonna. But why we have you here is this book right here. This is a very small book, but man, by the time I got done reading this book, I felt like I've known you forever. Mama's breathing.
Thank you.
I feel the breathing.
I'm not ignoring you.
The,
I'm not ignoring you. I'm doing the social media thing, giving
right.
everybody a like. So I just don't
I
imagine. Just ignore them on top of my head. Okay. There.
I
did.
didn't feel
warned
the
him.
least bit ignored.
Good,
I
thank you.
warned him about that anyway.
Okay. Cool.
She's not like nodding off. She's not falling asleep. All this stuff.
You'll hear me grind my teeth if I do fall asleep.
And no snoring.
But I
don't
seriously,
snore.
I
purr.
feel like I've known you forever just from reading this,
Thank
and in your what you've gone through is just crazy, and I can relate to so many things, and you've had since childhood such dealings with the healthcare industry, and you were doing really well too. I mean, it started up. Get this, all right? He's going water skiing, and well, you tell the story. You tell the story about what happened to you water skiing.
Well, so, I discovered listen, I'm an addict. I mean, I can't deny it. I'm an addict to adrenaline. And, it started at the age of 5. My sister dragged me up to the second story landing in our house, pointed down to the bottom and said, prove it. Prove what? Prove that you either are or are not the son of Superman, as you keep claiming, or shut up about it because we're sick to death of hearing it. And in that moment, I discovered, number one, never trust my older sister, duh. But number two, if you dare me, I'm doing it. So
yeah.
I didn't jump. I dove head first, like Superman taught me. And I flew. I didn't
For a
fall.
minute.
I flew. And it was spectacular.
For a
Problem
minute.
was my landing sucked. And I landed on the tips of my fingers, the top of my head. I woke up the next morning in a full body cast with a clavicle broken in 3 places, severe concussion, and a bunch of broken fingers, with my mother sitting next to me with her hand on my arm, weeping, something she did for the rest of her 93 years with me with ridiculous regularity. So a few years after that, my next door neighbor
And
invited
people
me
always
to
want to
go.
wrap me in bubble wrap. You wait till this is.
I see so far.
They didn't have bubble wrap when I was a kid. I promise you, my parents would have wrapped me in it for sure. So they invited me to go water skiing. And I had seen pictures of it. And I have to say, it looked a lot like flying, only you're wet. So I got there with them. It was fabulous, beautiful day. I am very proud to say that on my very first attempt, I stood up and skied. And it was a lot like flying, to be honest with you. Problem was, I hit a big wave, flew up in the air, got my hand wrapped in the rope. And when I went underwater, that the boat kept going, I stopped. And the rope tightened around my hand, pulled off much of the skin of my left hand, but more importantly, pulled off my left thumb. So, yeah, no kidding. Ouch. And we're in the middle of nowhere on a Sunday afternoon. Good luck finding a hospital. It took us an hour and a half to find a hospital. On the way, we stopped in some little town, and somehow they found a doctor. And he walks over. Now, I'm in the back of a station wagon, which probably 90% of it was the precursor to an SUV.
With the wood panels on the side?
And the doctor walks over, pulls off the towel on my hand, which is bleeding. And the guy, the mother of my...
We're losing you a little bit here.
Yeah, I thought it was me for a second.
In front of me. You're losing me?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're kind
Can you
of
hear me?
blocking it. Oh,
I can hear you now, but yeah, you were right. Go back to you
Okay.
pulled up in
He pulled up the
So-
towel.
Pulls off the towel and says, don't worry, we'll just cut the rest of it off and everything will be great. Sew it up. So
Excuse me.
the good news is my guy slammed the door. I thought he was going to punch the guy. I mean, how insensitive. I mean, you got a 10-year-old kid with a thumb pulled off and his hand bleeding with no skin. And your answer is in front of him, don't worry, we'll just sew it up, cut it off and sew it up. Anyway, we kept going. And luckily, got to a major hospital where a very famous plastic surgeon was giving a seminar in reconstructive surgery. He saw me.
How like nothing
story,
is a
moved me in
coincidence.
the ER and started years of rebuilding my thumb. You can't hear me?
No, we
Yeah.
can hear you. No, I was just
Can you hear
saying
me?
how much of this is not a
So-
coincidence.
Well, I mean, and here's the guy. This guy was the kindest, most amazing doctor. He rebuilt my thumb. He had a sense of humor, felt safe. I felt heard. I felt appreciated. And I had probably 10 operations, sorts of things. And about 2/3 of the way through, I stopped really paying attention to what he was going to do. So one night I'm laying in bed, hospital, had a procedure this morning. I had no idea what it was. I just didn't care. Just do what you're going to do and let's get on with it. I trust you. And he comes in, he says hello. It's about 10 o'clock at night. And he says, okay, just to be sure, tomorrow, when we remove your toe, we'll take the skin off, take the nail off, and attach it to what's left of your hand, thumb. You know that.
Yeah, we're losing
I
you
didn't know
again
that
here.
next
You
one.
keep
Your internet is
So I
kind of
started to
chunky.
cry. I mean, here I am. Oh,
Yeah,
should I
toe to
call you
thumb.
back?
Yep. Toe to
No.
thumb. It's
Should I
just
call you back?
it's just the way your internet is.
And it's
If
not
you
my
wanna try-
internet.
If you want to try to go out and come back in, it might make a difference, but
Yeah.
it's just you going in and out.
Shoot. Should I
Can you-
try coming back in?
It's worth a try.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot. I'll move to another place in the house. I'm in a friend's house. So let me call you right back. Bye.
Okay. Bye. So in the meantime,
In
yeah,
the meantime, let me just talk about something really quick. People, you're talking about people hurting themselves. Like my niece, okay, she's 7 years old. She tripped with her foot going like this, and she cracked her foot.
mhm.
She's 7 years old, and she got a cast on, and she says, "Can I take it off to go to bed?" She's never had a cast on in her life. She thought she could take it off to go to sleep. It's like, no, baby.
No. When I broke my foot, I
Yeah,
had just
missing.
gotten my tattoo, so I had to fight with them because they were going to put a cast on it. And I said, "Oh, no, you're not." And they said, "Oh, yes, I am. It's the only way it's going to heal." I said, "Then I'm going to cut it off. And trust me, I have every Dremel ever made. I will cut the sucker off as soon as I get home." Right. And, and she was like, "All right, well, if we give you a boot, you have to promise to never take it off. Like you have to leave it on like it's a cast."
You didn't. I know you. You did not.
For the most part, just showering, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
I kept freaking slamming. I was, crutches. I had that stupid bike knee thing, and if you turn the wheel all the way, it would keel over. So of course you got to put your foot down to get yourself stable, so it would smash it. And I'm going to places like Penhurst Asylum, all over the place, and traveling everywhere. I had to go look for a car. It was car
She was
shop,
hell on wheels.
and right now, because I keep hurting that foot, I did something bad to it. I might have foot surgery coming up very soon.
I'm gonna kick your ass. Oh, sorry. Did I say that a lot?
How's that? Any better?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we're
think
good
so.
so far.
I think so.
Good.
All right.
Okay, so he
So
told
go
you he
back
was
to
going to take the toe off, and
And
Yes.
I started to sob, and
Oh,
because
yeah.
I didn't know that, so I thought, now I've got no thumb. I can't play sports, can't play baseball, which I was very good at, I might say modestly. Now I won't be able to run. I won't be able to walk, and I thought my life's over. And he did some extraordinary things. Number one, he sat down next to me. he lowered his voice. He put his hand on my arm to comfort me and said, Lee, I'm so sorry that we didn't tell you before this. I didn't know you didn't know. He said, but let me assure you, you'll be able to run, you'll be able to walk, not immediately, but soon enough. And he said, I absolutely know that so certainly, because if I could, I would give you my toe to make up so you wouldn't have to do it.
Oh,
And I knew right there and right then, I didn't know the name of it, but looking back at it, that's compassion. I
right.
felt absolutely, again, this is a guy who's not just doing reconstructive surgery on me. He actually cares about me as a living, breathing human being. And I felt safe, and I fell
Right.
asleep and stopped crying. And now
Oh,
I have a thumb that is an opposable thumb that at least works and separates me from the apes who don't have one.
Ooh.
So it
there
was
you go.
worth it. Dr. Franklin Ashley
Right.
was a
And you
god.
do, yeah, you do tell the whole story is in the book, and I was just like, wow, in the Superman, that was in there too, and I was like, oh my God, all I
Yeah,
could think
because
of
like if I'm
was
going to tell you right now that if I was your mom, you would have healed and then I would have smacked you.
tied you up.
Oh, what makes you think she
tied you up.
didn't? I mean,
And we may not have had bubble wrap back in those days, but I can remember having cotton batting that was rolled up with the blue paper, and I'd have been like wrapping the shit out.
yeah, I know
Oh, that is
exactly what
so
you're
funny.
talking about.
Yeah,
I
my sister's son Danny, he was always banged, bruised, and he'd throw a rock straight up in the air and look at it, and then come and hit him in the face. He'd always have big eggs on his head
Eggs.
and everything
Oh
else.
my
You
God.
would have thought that this kid was abused, and he wasn't. He was doing this to himself.
He was abusing himself. Well,
He
that good news is that's not criminal. It's just stupid.
was.
There you go. I won't
No
say it's
offense.
because he's a boy, but
He's outgrown that a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, though, you had a great, kind, and compassionate doctor. For the most part, and especially nowadays, like that was then, and then it's like getting progressively worse. Now, I talked to a doctor recently because I'm going to all kinds of doctors as of late, and I talked to
Right.
one about this very subject, and they said, there is a chart that is out in the waiting room, and he said, you should go look at it, because from when he got into the profession, it started out like the beginning of the chart was the ratio of administration to doctors. Okay, that was like the ratio.
switch now.
As it goes, up to now, it's the exact opposite. The ratio of administration, the people that have got no business putting their input into your care or a doctor's schedule, is the one that is in charge, and the damn
Yep.
insurance companies.
Mhm.
Right?
Yes.
So these are the ones that are all in control, and the poor doctors are run so ragged.
Yep.
They're run. They have to work so many hours,
Yes.
and not only doing their work and trying to take care of your patients, you're stuck doing the damn paperwork.
Yes. Well, now it's electronic, which makes it even harder because you have to learn a whole new skill.
Very true.
Every other
And you
week.
do it
because
while the
they take
patient's there, so you're not even paying attention to them. You're paying attention to a screen.
Yeah, because
How does that make me feel?
that's exactly what he said. He goes, I'm not going to sit here and do this and talk to you. He said, I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to do this later.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have
And,
a doctor like that. She's amazing.
It was really nice. It was really nice, and it made me feel better, because here I am going, oh my God, what am I going to have to go through now? Because I'm going through hell with insurance and healthcare as is,
Yep.
And this is the thing. It's like if they would just stop and talk to you for a second, it's like if you can get someone on the phone to talk to is another,
Yeah, well, that's a whole other issue.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
where are all these people? They're obviously not working on the phones.
Whatever. But here's the problem is thousands of years ago, this fellow Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said that anybody involved in relieving the pain of another, which is the definition of compassion, is a healer. And
Yeah.
the truth is, everybody in a hospital or medical facility, everybody has an impact on the patient, either directly or through their colleagues. And the problem is that when you're run by people who value profit over people, your system doesn't serve patients like it ought to. The one thing that Hippocrates said was, he said, as a healer, you only have 3 jobs. 1, treat often. 2, cure sometimes. Part-time jobs. But your full-time job is to comfort always. And science has now proven that how you do what you do to a patient is absolutely mandatory that it be compassionate. If what you want is the best, quickest outcome and the best long-term health. So when you consider that over 60% of healthcare professionals, 60% of 20 million people are at any given moment burned out and incapable of being compassionate, you are denying a significant portion of your patients with a part of their treatment that must be integral, according to the World Health Organization, must be integral for the best outcomes. How can you call that first do no harm? You are depriving them of the compassion they need to heal and heal most quickly. That's malpractice, ladies and gentlemen. It's not okay. So
I know, and
when you consider that 50% of Americans today say they get zero compassion in healthcare, 50%.
That's true.
I mean, it's half of all Americans who get healthcare help, which is 99%, are being deprived with something that must be integral for the best outcome. They're not getting the best outcome.
Right.
And indefensible.
This comment right here is it in a nutshell. All right. I'm nervous. I have to go to Geisinger Hospital to see a specialist and then a surgeon. I'm scared on what they're going to find out and what they need to do. All right. People are scared, right? This is, I'm scared for my foot. I'm scared for my lungs. I'm scared all the time. We shouldn't be so scared to go in and talk to these people. They should be putting us at ease. Like, I mean, even if it's horrendous, even if it's cancer, if it's whatever. Now, we're going to get into your throat cancer in a second here, but that's the problem though. People are so afraid. She's afraid even just talking about it, let alone when she finally gets there. She's going to be a nervous wreck. I don't sleep the night before if I'm going to go find out something I don't want to know. I mean, so you're nervous.
Not many people do.
Right. And now you're going to go in there, and if you don't get this kind, compassionate care, there's more. That depletes us. That depletes us from our healing energy.
Yeah.
That depletes us from everything that we need, in ourselves.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be this way. It really shouldn't. And so what you're doing is all that important. So now tell the story about what happened, how you didn't get kind, compassionate care when you got your throat cancer.
So let's be clear. In my lifetime, I've been hospitalized in 6 different countries, broken over a dozen bones, some as many as 3 times. I mentioned I had my thumb pulled off. I've had bone grafts. I've had skin grafts. I've had more infections and infectious diseases than you can remotely remember. Multiple concussions, broken my nose 3 times. I've had I've been bitten 3 times and hospitalized trying to rescue dogs that just chewed me up when I tried to save them. So anyway, I've been inside of hospitals, and then of course I had this cancer. So I come out of the doctor's, I go to my ENT, my ear, nose, and throat doctor, my allergy doctor, for an allergy test to deal with my other addiction to golf, because I'd qualified for the state championships up in Pebble Beach. I knew if I couldn't breathe, it wouldn't very well. That wasn't going to happen. So I went to her to find out what I was allergic to, and it turned out to be grass, which is absolutely horrible for a golfer. Although my then wife thought it was divine intervention and I was being punished for it. So for playing too much of it. Anyway, so I go in for my nose
We're
clear.
losing your internet
I walked
again here, Scotty.
out hours later with a stage 3, stage 4 throat cancer.
Wow.
Now,
We are
that
definitely
may be a
losing
little
your
these San Francisco.
Lee,
Yeah, you're
you're
Never
breaking up
drank.
again, darling.
Crazy.
you're frozen, and we're not getting you.
Don't know what to do.
I don't know. It's in a
Tell
committee.
everybody to get the heck off the internet in the house.
Yeah, don't tell everybody. Don't use the internet while you're doing this.
Oh, there's nobody on it. There's nobody even here.
Oh, huh.
Well,
That's weird.
somebody's hacking into your. No, I'm kidding.
Call
I
back.
don't know. So
No, we just let it.
Frozen?
We'll let it ride. Just take our side. We're good
yeah,
for
just
now.
just repeat when we ask you
Can
to.
you hear
like,
me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So we'll probably go in a cycle. So we'll probably get
You
you for a
can hear
while,
me
and then
now.
it'll start to go out again, and then But that's all right. We'll fill in the
I'm
blanks.
so
right?
sorry.
But
I am so sorry.
no, it's not. It's not your fault. You're not home.
So-
You're away doing a conference. You're away doing good things. So, kudos to you for
All
that.
right.
That's fine. So you go in, you get your grass allergy,
All right. Let
which
me
I
finish.
can understand too. I'm allergic to grass seeds. When grass is first growing, I can't go near it. Or
Right.
any of the stuff that you put on the lawns,
Yeah, but-
I can't go near it. I get these little bumps on my arms, and if you go like this, it's like water. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Well,
Just from all
me
that
too.
stuff.
But for a golfer, addicted golfer,
Not
that
good.
is the greatest misery you could ever have for me. And again, my wife thought it was divine intervention for all those Saturdays I spent playing golf and not being with her. So she thought it was absolutely the best thing she'd ever heard. Anyway, so after all of those accidents I underwent, then they were going to do surgery first to remove my tongue. It was right at the base of my tongue. And the chances were I wouldn't be able to speak. I said, okay, guys, that ain't going to work. I mean, these are two incredible oncologists, two brothers. I said, what's plan B? And they said, we don't have a plan B. That's what, we do surgery, then we do 3 months of chemo, and then we do 35 straight days of radiation to the base of your tongue. I said, guys, it ain't going to work. Let's do plan B. They said, all right, we don't recommend it. We're as much chemo and radiation and such great as I think you can. We'll see what happens at the end. Did that. And I'm pretty.
Now the internet's going again here. I apologize. But he did go in for a whole ton of radiation, chemo and radiation, as opposed to getting his tongue chopped off.
Yeah, I would like. I'm sorry. We're gonna chop off your tongue. Hello, dude. Seriously, this. Mm-mm.
No, for a guy like this,
Nope.
mm-mm.
It'd be like telling you and me never to talk again.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's not going to happen. All right, do we
And
have
I'm
you
in
back?
Hollywood. I'm a producer. I mean, how am I going to make a living? There's no way.
Oh,
Right.
dang, we're on a show with a producer.
Okay, so
Oh, I know.
that wasn't the plan. Needless to yeah. I mean, I'm like a big right. I mean, I own a movie studio. I built another one.
Dang. And I'm torturing him. Sorry.
I survived.
Yeah, but what
work, I
happened?
can't Anyway.
Yeah, we keep losing you.
So
We keep
Yeah.
I
losing
went
you.
through. Oh,
Okay now.
God darn it.
All right, keep talking. When you go up, I'm going to start talking about
you
your
hear me?
movie studio. Yep,
Yes.
go.
Okay. So, I'm so sorry, girls. I mean, Jesus. All right.
Ooh, he
so,
told us girls he can get away with anything.
I'm at the very end of my treatment. Can't hear anything. No?
Yep.
No, I said you called us
Yep.
girls. You can get away with anything.
No, you're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So here I am at the very end. I've
I
lost
don't know what that is.
60 pounds. I can't speak. I can't swallow. The pain is so excruciating. I have unlimited amounts of fentanyl patches. My business is a wreck. I've not made any money in a year. I'm running up debt. I'm a terrible marriage was.
I'll figure it out.
Life was a disaster, and now I wake up in the emergency room with an unidentifiable septic infection at the site of my port, which is where they, infused me. So now I'm dying of cancer. I'm dying of this infection they can't even find the name of. My life is a misery. And if ever there was a time I could have used some simple human kindness from the people in that hospital, it was then. And I got zero. I got the opposite. These were the most insensitive, unkind, uncaring, rude, stupid, robot I ever met. And here's the thing I realized: being used to competency and compassion, when I didn't get compassion, my life was on the line. I had put my life in the hands of these people. They were gods and goddesses to me because they controlled my life. And when they didn't care enough about me to be kind, I thought, you know what? They're right. I'm not worth it. And the world would be a better place without me. And I realized that I had enough fentanyl patches. If I put them on, I could very quietly go to sleep, not wake up. And my family would collect what's called a key man life insurance policy worth way more than I was worth, but millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I thought, what a great parting gift. So I planned to do that. The problem was I needed to know how many patches. You put too many on, it's suicide, you can't collect.
Yeah. Then it's moot point, and then they still have the bills because we have to tell why you had the bills to begin with too. The other bills.
Well, that's a whole nother story. So
I know we're gonna get.
I decided that I would. A doctor friend came to visit, and I decided he was one I was going to trust. Tell him what I was going to do, and ask him how many patches. He came. Very hard for me to speak. I croaked out the misery I had experienced in this hospital and my decision. Before I could the question patches, did what I was intending to. He put his hand on my arm, his head down, and said, "Lee," and this is a very famous doctor. You may recognize him. His media days, Dr. Gina. Number 2 radio host in America for 2 decades. Anyway.
Before Dr. Oz.
He's for what experience. It is so cruel. It is inhumane. It's so wrong. It is a total lack of compassion. And that was the first time I heard that word in relation to me. He said, and so I understand you're wanting to end your life. May I make a suggestion? He politely asked me. He said, if you do yourself in, you statistic just another person that was mortally wounded by a lack of compassion. He said, how about this? May I make a suggestion? He asked my permission. Sure, Dean. He said, how about this? How about you fight? And if you're lucky enough to live, spend the rest of your life bring your
losing him again.
Professionals to the of being both compassionate. It's only a 5-minute conversation. He literally, his kindness, his caring, his belief in me.
Lee, back up just a little bit.
His belief in me literally rekindled. Sorry?
I just needed to have you back up with your story a little bit because you cut out again.
Just a smidgen.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Tell me where to back up to.
I know. Well, he was being very compassionate to you. It was more when you first started, when he was putting his hand on your shoulder and his head down and telling you all about everything. It was like that's when it started going in and out. So, here's this very famous doctor friend of his.
Okay.
And now he's gone.
Yes.
Oh my
Dr. D. Start again at the. Where can you hear me?
Go back. Try going out and coming back in again.
Very spotty, very spotty. I'm not sure what's going on with
Oh
it.
gosh. Yep.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Doggone it.
Well,
He
we
swears
have
so politely.
I know he's so
I'm gonna teach him some French words.
Well, why he's got all these bills though? What happened to him was he had this movie studio and he had it with two other partners. He found out that these partners were skimming off of
The profits.
the profits and everything, and the building and everything. So he confronted them. They gang up on him and kick him out and take over his shares and everything. So he ends up taking them to court. Now, while they're taking him to court, they're like, well, we're the ones with the money, so we're going to just depose you and depose you and depose you. And they kept doing this for a very long time, which just inevitably cost him tons of money, bankrupts him and everything else. Well, it comes down to the end, and you know he's going to win because he is in the right. You know, he did win that case. But then another studio, a bigger, better studio, was buying up all the things around, wanted that studio. He didn't want to sell the studio, but then they started taking him to court and all this and that. And it was just like another whole thing. So he had spent 4 years of his life in and out of this court systems over this thing that he won again. But then it was like too late and it was just too expensive and the bills were there. So he had all that depression because that was going really well for him before.
Yeah.
Well, it happened.
Okay.
Hi.
Again.
I was just
Hey,
telling, I was
listen.
filling everybody in on the studio episodes. So, and what was happening there. So why you had those bills and things too. So these are things that you're dealing with. And it's like all of this is compounded with this lack of compassionate care. So I can see why you would get down, so depressed, to want to end your life, And I don't know anybody who hasn't at some point in their life felt like ending it.
I suspect that's true.
Right.
It was a misery. And again, if it hadn't been for the kindness of my doctor friend, who believed in me enough to give my life purpose, see if you can't do something to prevent anybody else in the world from experiencing what you experienced, which was that total lack of compassion. And that's what I've dedicated my life to. That's how the Compassion Heals movement was formed. That's what the book came out of. That's how 200 keynotes around the world. Our documentary is in the works about the heart, science, and business of compassion. It's all designed to do a simple thing, which is to remind healthcare professionals and the world of the infinite scientifically proven healing power of simple human kindness, the necessity of providing it for your patients, and as importantly, to yourself, to avoid burnout, so you're able to be compassionate with your patients.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, when you're going and doing all this, did you realize that you were going to be helping the people as well? Or did you feel like you were just going to be helping the doctors?
I have to say that understand that when he gave that to me, I was at my lowest possible point, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, romantically, you name it. So when he said, you ought to start a movement or something, it's like, I didn't have any idea what that meant. So what I thought I could do that might be useful was find people like those people who I thought were monsters in that hospital. I didn't know about burnout. And find them and get them out of healthcare. I thought that was my mission.
Yeah.
Until I discovered the numbers of people who are burned out, not because they're bad people. It's not that they're not compassionate because they don't, have compassionate hearts. Most people, the vast majority in healthcare, have huge compassionate hearts. Problem is that they don't take care of themselves well enough because they keep giving and giving and giving because that's what they learned in medical and dental and medical and nursing schools. And a lot of them work for organizations that don't care about their health either. So between that and the fact that they don't give themselves enough love, That's really what I'm dedicated to. And it turned me around from hating them, literally hating those people, to feeling empathy for their pain and then
Yep.
being moved by compassion to see if I could help. I don't hate those
Right.
people. I love the ones who treat me like crap. I get your pain. Doesn't excuse it, doesn't make it
Yeah.
okay, but I don't hate you. I know you're troubled. I know you're in deep pain. Let me see if I can't help you so you can be your most compassionate and competent self to help your patients as much as humanly possible. But let's start with you. Put patients second. Put you first.
Right. Right.
Then put
This is-
patients first.
That's the book there too, right? So you can see it bigger. So Compassion Heals, from self-care to healthcare. You can get it on Amazon, and honestly, you will be changed just by. It's not a big book. You can read it in a day, right? But it's
That's
so
true.
compelling, and oh my god, and you can relate, and I guarantee you will relate to his plight. Maybe not the whole thing, because he's got the gambit of everything, but
Hopefully
yeah,
not that part.
yeah. I just want to
You
put
know,
up
the thing that's so interesting about compassion, one of the most astonishing, and again, I'm not in medicine, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not, I'm not any of that. I'm
I
just
don't
a
want
regular human being who's way too often a patient.
to.
That
I like
So
this one. Hang on one second.
compassion,
This comment
compassionate
by
with
Loki.
somebody
Oops.
in pain.
I want to give one to every doctor that she knows. I think that's an amazing thing.
Well, you can book him. That's why I was just putting up his links. You can book him to speak. Now, what about this coast? What
Yes.
about the other coast? So you travel, or do you Zoom, or how would you speak here?
Well, since COVID, hit, I literally did last week my very first in-person keynote address to several hundred patient experience officers who are in charge at their hospital with patient experience. I gotta say, a year and a half being away and doing them all virtually, it was thrilling. I loved it. And then to speak with them afterwards, better than doing it on a screen, because you don't connect on a human level. I mean, you can't, it's very hard, with artificial intelligence and, virtual exams, one of which I had today with my GP. It's very hard to connect with people on an emotional, compassionate level. So it makes it even harder to be compassionate, although there's advantages to it. Being compassionate, and being on a machine is not as good. So,
Hmm.
most of my presentations around the world have been live. For a year and a half, they were all virtual, and now they're starting to be live again. And I have a ton of stuff
I'm so
booked
glad,
already
because
throughout America
you
and a couple in Europe.
nice. Oh, because you're like this larger than life guy. With everything that you've gone through, to be this forthgoing, this, you know, um, you have the compassion, that it just beams out of you, you know, and hopefully it's catchy to everyone that you do talk to.
Well, guess what? Do you know what science tells us about compassion?
See, it
Is
says,
that
yay, we
it
need to.
literally is catching. So
Yeah.
they did 10 studies where people in line on a, what do you call it, a pay road. Is that what they call them? Pay highway. What do you call them? Where you have to pay a fee to go
Yeah,
on a
toll
highway.
road. Yeah. Yep.
Toll
Toll
road.
booth.
We don't have those in California. They're only in New York. Anyway,
They're
when the
they're
person,
going. They're electronic.
they're horrible, regardless. But the person in the line, the first in line, if he would pay for the person behind him
Mm-hmm.
and himself, that person was highly likely to pay for the next person, and it would
Pay it
go
forward.
on
Yep.
for hours.
Right.
Yep.
Compassion is catching.
Yeah,
It
and people
is
do that.
life
People will
Agreed.
do
saving.
that at like Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's
Yeah.
and stuff
Tim
like
And
that.
it keeps
Hortons.
going and going
Yeah.
and going. And that's the nature of compassion. So when people say, the world's a mess, rah, 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 rah. Well, you're right, it is. The only thing that can solve that is if we look at other people, recognize their pain,
Hmm.
be in touch with our innate genetic compassionate natures, and feel their pain and do what we can do to relieve it by simple human kindness. There's a story about a fellow in San Francisco who wrote a suicide note. And he said, I'm going to walk to the bridge and I'm going to jump off unless one person smiles at me when I walk to the bridge. They found his next day. If one person had glanced at a stranger and smiled at him,
Hmm.
he'd be alive today. That's the power of compassion. Will every
That's it. My late
save a
husband
life?
used to have that shirt.
No,
Smile,
but it will
let's
actually
smile at the
improve.
universal language. And it's true.
It is. And
It's huge.
You're cutting in and out again. That's
It's
why I started.
why.
Yep. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Back.
We got you. Almost. We almost
That's
did.
why I, at the end of my keynotes, I offer the Heals Challenge. Because we could talk about it long, but unless we do it, the will never improve. And by human kindness, we can save and improve lives. So what I do is I give a challenge, a simple 7-day challenge. And here's the deal. For 7 days, you agree to do one intention in the moment.
Yeah, we're losing you again.
Which
Oh my
okay,
goodness.
and we seem to have.
Yeah, and we have I don't know this.
We've
Let
got
just
to get
ignore it.
people
I'll
to
deal with it.
move kind.
Right. So this now. What do you do at the end of your
Am I gone
keynote?
again?
You went into that.
No, not you.
Yeah, you.
You're
Yeah,
good.
you went. No, Mama. You do what you gotta do.
I
Yeah,
do what
that.
I gotta do.
That's
I got a troll. Can I play?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right. He's copied and pasted what's her
Yeah.
name's thing. So no,
Am
you
I
were
back?
saying Lee,
Yes, you are.
Yes. You were saying at the
That's a
end of
challenge.
your keynotes, you
At the
give
end
a
of my
challenge up.
keynotes, I offer what we call the Compassion Heals Challenge, which is incredibly simple. It is 7 days, one kind act a day for 7 days. You log in my site, and each day you agree you'll give that one kind gift. And that's how things get started. Compassion is a habit. So it's not enough just to talk about it and say how wonderful it is. And gee, I wish I got more. I wish I'd give. No. You want to make the world a better place? Be kind. Make it a point every day. And that ripple effect will absolutely change the quality of life on the face of the planet. What if we got 1,000? What if we got 10,000? What if we got 100? What if we got 1 million people doing kind acts a day? And then half of those go out and do kind acts as a result. And then half of those, you'd have 50 million kind acts. You think that would make a difference in the quality of life on the planet? I guarantee it. Would it solve every
But
problem?
it's like you see those videos on Facebook
start.
and the like, where people has a sign. The last one I saw was a young man. He's blindfolded and he's got a sign says free hugs. And I know this was pre-pandemic. No, actually there were some people wearing masks, but people would come up. A lot of people I know sit there. Nobody's gonna give out free hugs, dude. Yes, they are, and people are gonna accept them. And it's amazing how many people accept them and how many people just need that connection. And that's part of compassion is free hugs, dude. I give them out when I can, when people let me.
But look, it's like the doctors who put their hands on my arm to comfort me. All of that's true, but it doesn't have to be a hug, literally. Open
Yeah.
a door for someone who's got 6 bags. Let somebody go in front of you in traffic and give them a thumbs up.
Mhm.
I mean, just there are a million opportunities in the course of a day, unless you're locked in your room, where you see something you could do for somebody else. It'll take you 2 seconds, but
Yep.
that will
Oh, I was so
improve that
frustrated.
day for those people.
I was at a doctor's office, and there's a lot of elderly that go to this doctor's office. The doors are so damn heavy, right? And you got to pull them.
Oh,
And here's this lady with the walker trying to pull the door, and there's a young woman standing in line waiting to get checked in. And it's like, I saw her look. And she just stood there. So I had to go all the way across the whole
oh,
waiting room, go over there, past her, which I kind of brushed her a little bit because I was a little irritated with her. And I opened the door for the woman, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, oh thank you so much. I just wasn't getting it, you know." And I'm like,
yep.
"Yeah, a lot of people don't get it." and I walked,
Yeah.
and I walked by, and I was like, so ran to that, that girl standing there, like, "What the hell's your problem? You're standing right here, and I know you saw her. I saw you see her, and
Well,
that."
that's somebody, that person is in so much pain and they're so self-centered. It's all about
Mhm.
them and their comfort. So we need to get people to realize that, what is it the Dalai Lama said? If you want to make somebody happy, be kind. If you want to be happy, be kind. It's true. I know
It is.
people who went to their shrink and were told, here they were depressed. And yes, they got medicine, but they said, okay, here's the deal. For 30 days, you do one kind act a day for 30 days. Write it down, bring it back to me each week, and read them to me. And they did. And at the end of those 30
Wow.
days, yes, they got some meds, but at the end of those 30 days, their depression was dramatically decreased by
Yeah.
simple human kindness.
Right.
It is scientifically proven. If you
Right.
give compassion, your health, mental, physical, and emotional health will improve, as will that of the person that you give that gift to. So,
That it
I
is.
mean,
Yeah.
where's the downside of this? There is
No.
none.
And this is
There
free.
is none.
Like Dave wrote.
Yes.
Dave does this everywhere.
Yeah,
I love it.
kindness is free. Sprinkle that stuff everywhere you go. That is on the wall in one of my doctor's offices, which, by the way, is one of the bad doctor's offices. The doctor that I left, the one that has no compassion or kindness. And I'm like, really? You
Really?
have this on the wall? It's like, do you read
Wow.
that? Do you know that
Shame
that's
on
there?
him.
Often? Honest to God.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
You should have taken it off the wall and handed it to him and say, you
I
gotta study
felt
this
like
again.
it many times. Believe me, many times I did. I was just
Yeah.
like, this is
I hear you.
ridiculous, But I get very
and
irritated
again,
with a lot of people in the field.
well, people have said, would you rather have, and it's not a fair question really, would you rather have whatever your procedure is, the number one doctor in the world in that procedure and have them be a jerk? Or would you rather have the 10th best, who's the most kind, caring, and loving human being on the face of the planet? And the answer is, if you want the best outcome, you want the guy who's number 10. They're all competent, but with or without compassion should be the deciding factor, not just their competency as doctors or nurses or whatever it is they do in healthcare. You need both for the best outcome, period. No question, scientifically proven.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many things. There are so many things. There's some really cool things coming up here in these chat rooms, letting people out in traffic and paying for people in the coffee line.
Yes.
And this, always thanking veterans or anyone that served in the armed
yeah.
forces, even police officer or healthcare people. All of these things count.
Just
All of
thank
them
them.
count.
Just thank them.
Yeah.
Just thank them. In the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere. You see a guy who's got
But yeah,
army
like I said,
cap on,
Smile.
thank him for his
Smile.
service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smile is universal
Where-
language.
Where I work, I take a lot of
Yes.
phone calls. I do booking reservations for a park, adventure parks, and military and first responders get a discount. And when people call up and make a booking, when I ask them, I go down a list of promotions that I can give them. And when I get a military and first responder, hey, Gina, I'm like, thank you. And they went, what for? I said, for everything you do, it takes patience to deal with all your patients. I said, and that was before COVID. So thank you. And they were like, they're stunned when somebody says thank you for what they do.
Yes.
Right.
So it's like,
Yes.
come on, this should be
Yes.
something that's automatic.
But
You're right.
On that note,
well, it should
We
be,
need-
and if we can make the world, but again, commitment from us to do something to make sure that happens, exactly
Yep.
like what you do there. We need to all commit to that if we want the world to be a kinder, more caring, more loving place. We
Yep.
need to get involved with making it so.
You're right. You are so right. But we need to take a little
Period.
commercial break. And when we come back, Athena will be here, okay, with our featured crystal, which will be pre-night. And this is the crystal for healing the healer, which will be totally appropriate for
Yeah.
this. So let me play a quick
No
little
kidding. We
sponsor.
got to get into every doctor and nurse on the face of the planet.
hot
Oh,
diggity.
you're not kidding. So we're going to play our little sponsored video, and then Athena will be with us, and then maybe she'll have a couple words that she might want to input on this subject too.
Cool.
The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, ghost hunting equipment made by an actual ghost hunter. Bob Christopher has been creating custom gear for decades. Vortex has equipment for all manner of investigating, such as proximity meters, which include the HTO, the V-Pod, and the trigger prop cats and dogs. For vibration, use the geophone. For manifestation, use the static dome, also offering fully customizable equipment designed for your specifications, such as using your team logo, theme, or a character. Our first, the Cryptic Chords box for motion and temperature, which also includes custom music, and the other customizable item is the Easy Scan Ghost Box. Visit www.vortexghostgear.com and get your equipment today.
You're muted. You have to unmute your mic again.
How do I do that? I mute myself so I don't interrupt your show, and then I forget to turn it. I turn it on my microphone and not hear it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you with kind of a funky sound, but
Oh, okay. Let's see.
it's gnarly.
Wow. Okay. What happened there? Okay.
I don't know what's going on with this show here tonight.
Whoa, we have a trippy. Is that better?
No. He says it's
Okay.
the black one.
You know what? I'm just gonna unplug this mic, and you'll just have regular.
Now we gotta unmute you again. Can't unmute the guest.
You're
All right, you're
How about now?
There we go. We can hear you now.
Okay. So maybe I'm a little further away with the computer, but here we are. Sorry, love.
All right, I'm gonna back down, and I'm gonna let you have full stage. And now start over. I love you.
Yeah, we'll just start again. So, hello, and I am back and with sound, and I'm so grateful to be back here on the Fox Den channel, and to be sharing with you the gifts of pre-night, our crystal of the week. So here you can look at this beauty. A lot of people will confuse this with other stones like Amazonite or aventurine, but the energy that comes along with pre-night is very different, and I love this stone for today's show in particular, because this is known as the healer's healing stone. So prehnite is like that gorgeous crystal that is so, it's ideal to take with you, like if you're going to spiritual retreats, if you're going into a hospital, if you're going into anywhere where there is healing of the physical body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, like this is the one you want to take with you, because it really, not only does it help activate your heart chakra, but it really allows the healer to kind of detach from, that pain. It kind of gives them, almost like a new form of inspiration for their work. A lot of the times, healers will experience burnout and get kind of jaded. And if anybody's who've ever been to a hospital where the nurse is not very friendly, I mean, she definitely needs or he needs some prehnite, because it just kind of refocuses them back to, their purpose, why they're doing this, reconnects them to what brought them into this field of healing. And whether that's as a nurse or a doctor or a Reiki master or a chakra healer or anything in between, even veterinarians, like this is a really good stone to call back your energy, call back your compassion for the people, the animals, the beings that you are working with. It's long been used by psychics, healers, intuitives, shamans, going way, way back. This has been a real, and people don't talk about this one quite as much, and I'm not sure why, because it's such a magical stone for the healers. And maybe we've been so focused on the patient that we forget that we need to take care of ourselves too, that we can't pour from an empty cup. And I think we've seen a lot of that happen where people are they're really burnt out. And instead of doing the work to take care of themselves, it ends up projecting onto the people they're actually, there to help. So prehnite is a wonderful way to kind of call back that energy. It connects us to Mother Earth and her sense of powerful divine healing that you have. If you've ever gone out and you've done some grounding, this essentially really helps do very similar, in that it reconnects you with Mother Earth so that you're, letting go of your nerves, your anxieties, anger. So for people who've been living in this pandemic and they're, anxious, they're nervous, they're scared all the time, the news is getting them down, getting a piece of prehnite would be really helpful for just helping to kind of bring all of those heavy, hard emotions back down and kind of out from your system. It's also just on a physical level, it's very good for supporting our circulatory system. So anything to do with blood flow, lymphatic drainage, our liver, our gallbladder, these all, our kidneys, our adrenals, our glands, and can even kind of calm the the inflammation that goes along with if you have like a UTI or any kind of like gland issue with an infection there. This really helps kind of calm down the pain from that inflammation. This stone also works really well for our third eye. And it works in the way that the psychics, the witches, you could call it, of the old days used to work with prehnite. And they thought that would help you to see fairies, that would help you to connect with angelic realm. And so if you're ever doing any kind of spiritual work or trying to connect with a loved one from the past, this is a really good one. It kind of just opens that up there and helps you see from a place of love. Again, this works as well for our solar plexus. So our solar plexus is kind of like our power source, and it works really well kind of harmonizing our heart chakra and our solar plexus chakra so that you have the will to do what your heart desires, if that kind of resonates. And then with that third eye, it's almost like you know what you want to do, and then in your heart you feel what you want to do. And then you need that solar plexus to bring to come and bring them up together so you can work from a place of love. And Preonite is really good at helping you synchronize these energies so that, you can be a calmer, healthier, happier person. And for healers, this is especially helpful for refilling your cup. And my affirmation for working with preonite, you can hold it in your hand, you can wear it. Sometimes you'll find it as jewelry or as a pendant. But an affirmation that works really well with this is, I place my inner compass and strength into the service of my heart so that I may be guided from a place of love. And that is our crystal for the week. Thank you so much for having me. And it is always a pleasure to join you on the Fox Den.
You're amazing. That is perfect. And how perfect is that for a gift for anybody that has anyone in the medical field for Christmas?
Yes, that would be wonderful for a Christmas gift. Absolutely.
Honest to God.
You want one?
Come on.
Mama
You
D's
know me,
ordering.
I'm
Hi,
ordering.
Mama D. Hi.
Anybody wants to send me one, you know where to find me.
Right. Lee, your microphone is muted for some reason, so you'll have to unmute.
Hold on.
your
I'll
microphone.
see, can we do it?
Yeah,
You have to unmute yourself. Lee, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, you have to do it, Lee, because we're unable. Is he frozen? I think he might be frozen again. Oh my goodness.
We're just having this all over today.
This is just, I don't know. It's
The
such
magic of lives.
Exactly. What are you gonna do? Unmute. It won't unmute.
Well, I'm sure he can. If he can hear us patiently. I hope you can hear us, and I hope
There he
that.
is, unmuted.
Oh, hello, and I hope that this stone resonated for you, and I love the message that you're carrying forward for others, and it's wonderful to kind of remind people of why they're in the business that they are and bringing that compassion back to our healing world. So thank you for that.
Exactly. But I don't know why I don't have. I know. That's been happening with him, and it's just such a powerful message. It truly is. I don't know what it is with the electronics tonight. Is there, like Sharon was saying earlier, the satellites are crashing together somewhere, so maybe they are. I don't know.
Maybe
They're having
they are. I mean, I literally did a test run like 2 hours ago, just making sure I had everything working the way it was supposed to, and I get on and my mic is dead. I'm like, okay, well.
No, it's not that it was dead. It was like staticky. So there was like a loose wire or something.
Yeah. Well,
some connection was like a brain fart.
Go back and listen. Yeah, go back and listen to the show, and you'll hear it. But what you had to say was so perfect. Okay. Love you.
There we go.
Love you.
There we go. Yay.
Back. All right. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much. And Mama D, lovely to see you again this week.
Nice
back on the show. I'm glad you got your internet worked out patiently. Thank you for letting me add hopefully some value to your show. And Gina B, of course, as always, I'm so grateful to be here, and so much love to you all. Thank you.
All right, so we will see you next week.
Gorgeous.
And
I want to get I want the stuff.
He wants one of those stones, he said.
I want to get one of those
stone again.
Yes.
So we'll talk later.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
My pleasure. Yes.
Yep. Crystal Reiki, let me put up her. We'll put up her banner right here too, so you can find her. CrystalReiki.com.
Amazing.
And you'll find our Athena there, and we love our Athena. All right, so patiently we'll get in touch with you. We'll see you next week. You have a wonderful week.
Beautiful. Thank you, loves. Wonderful to be here as always. Bye.
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 Loki wants to know the spelling of the name of the stone. Can we pop that up there again?
Yes. Maybe.
Maybe not.
Right.
PREHNITE for anybody who's listening in the chat.
For inner peace, healing, compassion. It's for the heart chakra, the third eye, the solar plexus. The zodiac that's in reference to it is the Libra. The elements are water and earth. And the affirmation is I place my inner compass and strength into the service of my heart that I may be guided by love. Is that beautiful or what?
Gorgeous.
Yeah. I didn't know about this stone. until
It's
this,
perfect.
until this.
Yeah.
Yep, and it is perfect. And every doctor and nurse and orderly and anybody in any kind of field like that should have one.
Should have one.
Including Reiki
I agree.
practitioners.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that movement right
Yeah.
there. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can
Well,
crystal for
paranormal investigators. Yeah, metaphysical
Yep.
workers. Like she said,
Heck,
shamans.
everybody,
witches.
we need to find a
Yes.
crystal that can be
Yes.
given away willy-nilly to anybody that you meet with a little tag that's stuck to it telling you exactly what it's for. And I think this is the perfect stone.
I know. I know because I have a lot of and patient Lee. I mean, with him doing his things, I'm telling you, you'd probably make a killing if you had that in the bracelet form. You could sell them at the end. They hear this is for compassion.
Okay, but
No,
remember,
well,
compassion,
next,
just don't hit people in the head with it.
I have crystals.
You have crystals?
No, not in the head. Hit them on the cheek, hit them on the chin, but not on.
Not in the
Okay,
face where it leaves marks.
right there. You can't see
I
shit.
know nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to leave any bruises. Top of the head.
It'll be covered by the hair. We have no issues with.
Fun.
Yep.
Oh, you are going to get done
Oh,
later.
again. What is
Okay,
that?
I'm sorry, but I think this makes us here. We're gonna block that user. Sorry, darling. I think that makes us relevant now. We finally have trolls. I'm in
Oh,
heaven.
well,
I
but
keep blocking us. Shut up, ass.
know.
Sorry, that's
Well,
it.
yeah, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is why, Mama D takes care of all this stuff when there's weird things going on in chat rooms. I never see it. I'm just like, what does this mean? What is that?
That means somebody's been
Like,
trolling. That means that we are becoming relevant. That's all I got to say.
I don't know. I think it just goes.
Say bye, Felicia.
Yeah, I think they just go
Okay.
in. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's the same link that they keep posting in, so they just have a bunch of multiple accounts. So everybody who's watching or listening, please excuse the shenanigans that are going on. It's not my fault, but I'm having fun blocking them and booting them and
Right.
doing it with compassion.
So, getting back to you now,
Of course.
Mr. Tomlin.
Mr. Patience. That's his first name is perfect. He's got patience with us.
I just by saying Tomlinson, this reminds me too of your story when you didn't have the compassion with those, uncompassionate caregivers. They didn't even have your name right when you were leaving the hospital. Yeah, they were saying his name
Right.
wrong. It was just horrific,
Wow.
horrific all the way around, all the way down to you can't get a name right.
Well, they sent me a thank. Well, not only that. So when I'm checking out, they gave me a little envelope with a thank you, meant to be a thank you card. On the outside of it, on the front, they had whited out somebody else's name. They couldn't even give me a new envelope, and they misspelled name. It's Tomlinson, and they forgot the N. And they
Oh my
addressed
God.
it to Mrs. Lee Tomlinson. So, other than that, I felt very seen, heard, and appreciated. Couldn't get my ex right. They couldn't get my name right. And they didn't want
Wow.
to waste the enormous cost of an envelope,
Of an envelope.
put it inside.
Yep.
That was the crushing blow.
Uh,
Yeah, the
God.
envelope was whited out with somebody else's name. They gave me a used envelope for a thank you
Maybe
note.
that patient died, and they're like, "Well, we're not going to be giving this
Those
to
are some
anybody."
burned
There
out
we
people.
go. Yeah. I've only ever had
crushing. I mean,
I've had
literally-
really good experiences with all the healthcare professionals I've had to deal with personally. I had one healthcare professional. It was when I was giving birth 100 years ago to my son when the nurse was cleaning up the nether regions. She got a little bit rough, and I used the F-bomb, and my mom was in the room with me. And she told me after, she says, I so wanted to smack you
Oh.
across the mouth for that. So I love you, Mom, but she was hurting me. And and the nurse was kind of like, she was taken aback because I don't normally swear. Yes, I do. But she was taken aback, and I said, I said, you're hurting me. This is not a place you want to hurt me, not right about now, because I may not be able to get up, but I can kick. And she later on came back to me while I was in recovery, and she was like, "I'm really sorry. I was just having a moment, and I didn't think." And I said, "No, it's cool. You know, and I'm not apologizing for swearing at you, but thank you for apologizing."
Yeah. Yeah. Sharon,
Isn't it
she made me
amazing
feel,
how powerful an apology is?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to
oh
this.
my God.
So, even in the case, just to show you the power of the kindness of apologies, when doctors make medical errors,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're fatal, if they come out, take responsibility for the mistake, and deeply apologize, they are 75% less to that doctor at hospital,
Mm-hmm.
simply because they honestly took responsibility and apologized.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
never got
power
that.
again of
Hmm.
simple human kindness.
Yeah. I
You know,
never
you
got
don't
that.
want to
With,
somebody who just broke a heart and by they felt as
your internet
from
is
me.
cutting out again.
Well, people
Oh, he's
Right.
gonna
I'm
really
gonna
swear
take,
don't
this
want to
time.
sue you.
it's like we get Sue the word, but I'm going to take this opportunity to tell quick little stories. My nightmares of childbirth and my first child, like I'm in heavy labor for days and days and days, back labor, heavy labor, this and that. The butcher that I had for a doctor tried to turn her in my belly
Oh,
because she was breech, and I was black and blue all over the
oh,
place, back pain. It was horrendous. And then I ended up finally getting the C-section that was like the emergency C-section. And I was like, I don't know the word for it, what it was, hypoxic, but when you were all swollen and, it's like what I can't remember what the word was, but it was like it was bad. It was really bad. And he, I mean the way he cut me, he cut the nerves off the end of one of the sides here
oh,
too. So it's like even when I got skinnier, it's like my belly has like this little lump on one side, like from that. But it was just horrendous. The second doctor I go in for second. The whole thing though, he made me nervous. His name was Dr. Borno, and I don't care if I say it or not, right? But he was a foreign guy, and it was just atrocious through the whole thing. So I was a nervous wreck through my whole pregnancy, and my daughter today is still a nervous wreck. Okay, she really is unbelievable. The second pregnancy, I was treated so much better. I was calmer. I knew when I was going in to have her. I scheduled the appointment to go in to get a C-section. Found out about, went after that C-section that, oh, hey, you wouldn't have been able to deliver anyway. So that doctor put you through all that hell for no reason whatsoever
wow.
because I wouldn't get dilated enough and I wouldn't be able to do natural childbirth, right? So I find that out. He tried to fix the scar from the first one, to the best of his ability, but that didn't really work out too well, Then years later, I have to go in for a hysterectomy. Now, and at that time too, that second one, I said, tie my tubes. Yes, I all right, I'm not having another C-section. And then,
Yeah, done with those kids.
Been there, done that. No more.
and then I get adenomyosis. I have to have a hysterectomy, and it's supposed to be going in the morning, an hour or so surgery or whatever, be going home that afternoon, that kind of stuff, laparoscopic. I wake up in the middle of the night in the pitch black room by orderly saying, "Oh, she's out. She's been out all day." I'm hearing this as I'm coming out of anesthesia, and I'm just like, "Why is it so dark?" I'm like, "Where's my husband? What is going on?" And it was the orderly that I heard just moving around, cleaning up or whatever, and a nurse came in the morning, and I'm like, why am I here? What happened? What is going on? And she's like, oh, your doctor didn't come and tell you what's going on? And I'm like, no, and no one has. I'm like, where's my family? What, I just had no clue what the hell was going on. That doctor still never came in. The nurse told me, oh, well, they tore your bladder and nicked your kidney. So they had to keep you under anesthesia longer. They had to wait for the bladder doctor to come to the hospital to come in and repair my bladder. So now I'm like, holy hell, right? And you sign your life away
Mm-hmm.
before you have an operation. So the 900 pieces of paper that you sign, you can't even sue anybody that just butchered you, who doesn't even have that little ounce of compassion, kindness, care, or anything to come in and tell you this in person. You know, I didn't see him until a doctor's appointment much later. And then I get sent home with a catheter because your
Wow.
bladder is healing. Okay. What happens? The catheter keeps on screwing up and makes the bladder fill up and stay filled up where it messed with the sutures and everything else. So now I have a bladder full of razor
Stuff.
blades, is what I call it, because it's like all scar tissue. So not only do I have to pee constantly, but in my travels, my world, every time I drive, it's like the
And she knows every pit stop on the way.
every rest stop I have to stop at. But if I don't, my bladder actually physically hurts. It feels like razor blades in my belt.
Mm.
You know? But will I have an operation to fix that? Oh no, no. Do you understand why? Right?
Very true.
And it's because of this type of stuff, you know. And I'm like if I have to have this surgery on my foot, I'm dreading that. And this shouldn't be the way. Should not be the way that it is, you know. So, are we able to hear you now again, Mr. Tomlinson? Or is he frozen again? But look at the cute face he's
Great.
frozen at.
We're you're choppy, so I'm gonna
And then so
Oh, you're back.
Sharon says doctors are even more protected now. That is true. That's true. Trauma of childbirth, that women are just supposed to overcome mentally, physically with no help. We're only cared for when carrying life. Our bellies are beautiful when with child, but grotesque after. You know what? That's kind of sad, but true too.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Okay, he's back.
Hi, we can hear you.
Well, can you
Yes.
Yes,
hear me?
yes.
Oh my God. You know, look, again, healthcare, it's a tough business. And,
Yeah.
You know, doctors have the highest side of action in America today. So it's a tough business. That doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it does
No.
talk about a system.
Mm. Oh, and you're
Help.
frozen again. You know what? Do you want to try this? Sharon is saying if you try audio with no video, I
Yeah.
wonder
Turn off your video.
if that would be enough to give you a little boost, so at least we could hear you if we couldn't see you. I wonder if I could do that.
We both just thought this. You said it, and I thought it.
What happened? All right.
Now say something.
Any luck?
Ooh.
Yeah, we could hear you. We could hear you.
You can.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's see if that helps.
Okay. Well, for our audio only listeners, which we're always
You're
saying,
missing a round circle with a little blob in the middle. But
but still worth listening to. Go ahead.
Well, no. You know, listen, healthcare today, if you can afford it, because we have the highest priced healthcare in the world, and yet our results in terms of outcomes among developed nations are the lowest in the world. So we can either just get angry and complain, which does no good, or we can begin to advocate for more compassion, better pricing, and do something about it. We can make a difference as individuals. And, you know, bring me in to speak. You know, bring it up to the patient experience officer, those experiences, which are inexcusable. To have a medical error and not tell you about it, I mean, that person should be censored. It's not okay. Again, my guess that doctor was as burned out as a human could humanly possibly be. The odds say that's true. So does it make them bad people?
No.
Well, for that experience, I would say yes, but not necessarily overall. It's a question of how do we respond? Do we respond with equal hate, or do we explain our position and advocate for better and be kind, caring, and thoughtful to everybody in our life? Like we want from others, we give to others. That's the course we can take, and it will make a difference. You'll feel better. Person receiving it will feel better, and it's a win-win for everybody. Why not? You want to be miserable? Stay miserable. You want to be happy? You want to be fulfilled? You want to be satisfied? You want to be joyous? Be more kind. Go volunteer. Go to a soup kitchen. Go tutor a kid. Go walk abandoned dogs. Whatever it is, you'll feel better, as will the recipients.
Right.
You just got to do it.
Right. You're right. So, I mean, this is a catchy thing, and I do hope, even with all the other issues going on with the show, I do hope you guys share the show, because all in all, you get the gist of what we're trying to do here, okay? And what Lee is trying to do with his life mission right now, And this is to spread kindness, compassion for everybody, not just the healthcare, even though he's starting here, not
Correct.
just that, not for, any individuals, but I mean, it starts with all of us, and at this time, this is a holiday time. This is Christmas time, right? This is time that we are supposed to be, opening our hearts to other people. And this is a tough time for a lot of people too, because a lot of people get depressed at this time of year. I'm included. I get depressed at this time of year too. But you know what brings you out of depression? When you do something for someone else. It doesn't have to cost you money. It doesn't.
Right.
It's a kind act. It's an act.
It is. And let me also say this. I'm going to bribe your listeners. So you can go on Amazon to buy my book, or you can go to my website, sign up for the Compassion Heals Challenge. 7 days, 7 kind acts, 1 a day for 7 days. We will send you inspirational to keep you moving, to keep you doing it every single day. We won't sell your information. We won't sell you anything. At the end of it, when you complete it, I will give you a free copy of the book. No charge.
There you go, people.
I will give you a digital version of it, and it's all yours with my pleasure. So even if I have to bribe you, if you'd like a book, do 7 days of kind acts.
You want this book. It's a great book. It will inspire you, and it will inspire you. And you'll, just his story alone is just unreal, what he's gone through. But it's the point of the book is.
And you can get it for free, for heaven's sakes. All you got to do is 7 days of kind acts.
That's not too expensive.
Right?
And that doesn't have to cost you
anything. And
anything.
you'll feel better.
Nope.
Forget the book. You'll feel better if you do it.
That's right.
Simple.
And you do. You really do. Those are the things that help. I wanted to buy 100 books and hand them out. I know, with some pre-night, right? That should go right along with it.
What a great idea. We got to figure out, I'll tell you what, whoever that person was, let's figure out how we can do that. I gave out 100 to people at that national conference I just spoke at. They were thrilled. Wow. I'll even sign them for you. So let's figure out a way to give it away. And one way is to get people to do the challenge and do kind acts, and I'll give them a book. So let's get your listeners to take the challenge and get a book in return.
Well, here's my thing. There's a lovely lady in the chat room. She's a good friend of mine. She keeps me happy with cotton candy. But do you know what she does for her children's birthday? She does a random act of kindness.
I
all
love it.
of her people who do something posted in this the event that she holds for her son's birthday. This her son's is coming up, and she
Love it.
makes a list of everything. And as the kids grow up, she has written down everything, and she reads it to them. And these are a random act of kindness done in her children's names. And
Oh,
she's an amazing woman. She's just a smoochie. And but that's
Well,
like amazing thing.
yeah.
but that's
All
taking
right.
action.
You
That's
want to
saying,
look.
I want to see
I
more
know.
goodness in the world, and it's going to
Yeah,
start with me.
yeah.
You have to.
She's
Or
yeah.
just sit around and complain and be miserable. Your
And that's the
choice.
thing. A lot of people go,
You can
well,
take
so
action or
and
sit
so is
around.
like, yeah. A lot of people are like, oh well, the politicians don't do da 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 da. Yeah, but you know what? Excuse my language, but the heck with the politicians. If we as individuals can do one good thing a day, that will continue. It's like a domino
Right.
effect. Well, no matter what it is you're doing, whether you're smiling, whether you're okay. A lot of people think I'm a little strange, right? You know me. Everybody goes, oh God, no, here she comes, her little happy, chippery stuff. But I will smile at people who I don't even know in a grocery store, walking down the
Me
street.
too.
Because, like you said, you don't know what that person is going through. And a random act of kindness, paying somebody's coffee. I went into the dollar store.
Yep.
The gentleman
Yep.
at the cash was short 25 cents, a quarter. And the
Yeah.
cashiers didn't, like, no, well, you have to have a quarter. It's like, I was like, yo, dude, keep your money. I think it was like, $3 was his thing. I paid for it. And he says, you sure you want to buy? I said, no, no, no. Just pay it forward to somebody else that they might need it.
Yep.
So he's like, yep,
Yep.
yep. So here we go. Ashley,
Well,
they will get
that's the
cards when
kind
they
of
are
stuff
older.
that can change.
Yeah. Each year we fill a
That can
card. I
change the
want them to
world.
know that one person can make a difference. I am blessed to have people in my life that support my ideas. Heck
Awesome.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Her guys.
It's
Oh my God. Well, you know what? She's done a lot for everybody. Sharon goes well out of her way, and even for us. She's done stuff for
yeah.
us. Show
Yeah,
and
she
stuff.
puts up
So
with me. Fine.
she's
That's a
hands
big
down.
thing right there. That's very
Damn
kind and
straight.
compassionate to put up with you.
I know.
Just
Exactly.
saying.
And
You
he's
you
only
don't
just
know
met
what I
me.
have
He
to
knows me
go
only
through,
too well.
lady. Oh my God.
Yeah, but just imagine how quiet your life would be without me. Love you too, sweetie.
Yes.
It
Boring
it
and
would
boring.
Boring.
It's very
Exactly.
boring. It's very boring. I can't even imagine it, and I don't want to. But
She'll
but
never get the chance.
but getting back to this whole scenario here too, though. I want to know
Yes.
in your life or even in this what you're doing right now. Is there a certain someone that you look up to that you like
Yes.
admire
Yes.
most?
There's actually a number of them. But I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. My father was an extraordinary educator. And when he was sober, he was miraculous,
Mhm.
kind, caring, loving, and all of that. But when he got home and he started to drink, he was an absolute bad human to me, to my mother, to my sister. And by the sheer luck of the Irish, growing up, I grew up in a neighborhood that just had a lot of movie stars in it. I mean, we were the poorest people by far, but we happened to live in this neighborhood, and one of my neighbors had two sons, one that was 6 months younger than me, and one that was a year and a half younger than me. Anyway, and it was Dick Van Dyke. Now,
Oh, now that's
so
a sweetie.
I grew up with his 4 kids and
Wow.
Dick and his first wife. And I can tell you that for whatever reason, they treated me like a son, a loved son, a appreciated son. They included me in everything. They trusted me with their car to go on dates, even though I
Ooh.
burned out the clutch trying to race the XKE with his son in the car. And anyway, but I admitted it, and he didn't kill me. He said, "Okay,
I don't
you
see
took
him doing that
responsibility. You
anyway.
admitted it." Well, but he was such a good human being, and he
Mhm.
cared so much about me that it completely reversed all the negative opinions I had about myself because of his kindness and caring of me. So it's funny. Somebody actually asked me that question last night, and his name was the first one that I thought of. So, he's a person that was just a good human being. He
Mm-hmm.
still volunteers at food
Yep.
kitchens. He still plays music for homeless, events. I mean, so he really does not just talk about being good, he acts on his goodness to improve the lives of others. I've operated by those principles ever since. And Dr. Ashley, that doctor who said, I'd give you my toe, that's somebody I looked up to. How do you do what you do and be that sensitive to other people?
Mm-hmm.
That is exceptional in healthcare. And that was 60 years ago.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, I remember it like it was yesterday. You don't know, I'm really old. So anyway, but those are two people that have had profound impacts. And why? Because they were kind, caring, and loving. Period. End of story. And that's the power of it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So now, who's your biggest cheerleader now?
That's a good question. I have, I don't know that I have any one person, but my biggest cheerleader are my audiences.
Yeah.
They're the people that I speak to. Think about this. I owe my life to healthcare professionals. I would not be alive today a dozen times if it weren't for them, both their hearts and their brains. So for me to be able to stand up in front of them and profoundly thank them for their mental, physical, and emotional and spiritual healing of me is a dream come true. And then to be able to speak to those healthcare professionals, to remind them that I know they're compassionate, I know they're kind, and I know that most of them are burned out, and try to inspire themselves, and then did radically improve their own health, not to mention their patients and colleagues. That gives me goosebumps just telling you the stories. So that's, those audiences deeply, deeply, deeply inspire me, because not just of their brains, and I got to tell you something, you got to be one smart human being to be in healthcare, but also by the size of their hearts. It is awesome. Imagine doing what they do every day. Imagine being surrounded every minute of every day by pain, suffering, loss, death, misery, fear, every day, and their families. And you lose one, you get back up, you go into the next room, and you take care of that next patient with compassion and competence. That's godlike, ladies and gentlemen. Could you do it? I couldn't. Nope. Not in a million years. Not in a million years.
No.
So,
and you know
those
what?
are people that inspire me deeply.
The doctors who were a lack of compassion and lack of being a human at that moment in time, if it wasn't for them and how they treated you and everything else that they did and didn't do for you, you wouldn't be where you are, sharing your story with us, teaching the rest of the world something that should be an automatic.
Yeah, it should be second nature to everyone.
It should be like breathing.
It is second nature, but we've ignored it.
And the thing is, we don't.
We've gotten out of the habit.
It's like growing up. When I grew up, I had to. My parents taught me, please and thank you were magic words. They don't. You don't see kids. I'm sorry, you don't see children nowadays with that. Every adult was either Mr., Miss, Auntie, or Uncle.
Yes.
I used to have a friend of my mom's who I would call Aunt, and she says, "You make me feel old. Don't call me that. Call me by my first name." So I was like, "That's not the way I do it." Even my children in school, I was like, Miss, whatever. In school nowadays, it's like they use the teacher's first names. I was like, oh.
Yep.
It's like nails on a
Oh
chalkboard.
God.
It's just a sign of respect. Miss whatever,
Yep.
Miss Peggy, Miss
Yep.
Gina. Hey, Miss
Right.
Gina.
Yep.
Here,
Yep.
You know,
this
one
mama.
of my best friends works at the school, and all the kids call her Miss Nancy. When I
Yeah.
see her, just a grind on her nerves because she's, my oldest friend. She's older than me. I call her Miss Nancy. But I mean, it's I love her. That what she does takes a lot of work, takes a lot of energy, takes a whole lot of patience. It's the same thing as being a nurse or a doctor
Yes.
or
Yes.
whatever. If you touch in any way, shape, or form, if you touch somebody else, if the public, you need to be able to treat somebody like you want to be treated.
Yep.
Isn't that one of the
The
10
rule,
Commandments?
the golden rule. And you did mention
That
that in
is the
here.
one lesson that I
That
learned.
is what
I didn't know
I
about
grew up with.
compassion. Yeah, I didn't know
Yep.
compassion from a tuba. But treat people like you'd like to be treated
Yes.
is compassion. And that's what my parents taught me. They didn't know it was compassion. I didn't know it was compassion, but it is. And
Yep.
it is so ridiculously now scientifically proven healing medicine that to not be that deprives your friends, neighbors, and countrymen and yourself of the healing power of
Yep.
giving it. You want to make somebody happy, be kind. You want to be happy, be kind. Scientifically proven.
Yep.
No joke. No joke.
Yep.
Do it with regularity. They don't have to be big gestures. A simple smile will connect you with other people, them with you. You will both be bettered for the experience. And you do it 10 times while you're out, you'll feel 10 times better. Will it solve everything? Will it save a life every time? No.
No.
Again,
But
you'll feel better whether they don't even. How many times have I opened a door where people just walk through it like I'm the doorman and don't even say thank you? And you know what? It used to make me
Doesn't
furious,
matter.
but I'm not doing it for the reward. I'm doing it because I want to help.
Exactly.
And
It's
it gives
kind of
me
like
pleasure.
it's kind of like what we do with this show. Gina and I know that every guest that we have on has the ability to help at least one person. You have helped more than one, but one person, and we have done our job. Every
Yep.
show helps one person,
Yes.
and that's our job.
Yes.
You may have helped
Me too.
thousands, but our focus is on one person.
Right.
Yep.
There's
Me
a one
too.
person out there who's going to get helped, and that's what we do. That's one of the reasons we stick together, because she sort of stuck with me. But it's why we work so well together, because without Gina and I have been friends for a while, but we've never actually physically met. Eventually it'll happen. They'll open the borders, and the American
Oh my God,
Border
really?
Patrol will say,
Terrible.
she's allowed across. Because right now they're kind of going, they got my picture on the wall going, not her.
Yeah, they do actually. I saw it when I was up in Ontario. And so I'm just saying,
But
once you get past
it's an
that, then
important
I'd
thing.
look forward to meeting you as well, but not until.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'm gonna have to go to each state and have a gathering. Everyone's gonna have to meet me in one spot, because there's gonna be a lot of hugging going on. It's gonna be like a weekend of
Well,
hugging.
better sooner
enough.
than later. Let me tell you one quick
come again?
story.
Yeah, go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me? Oh,
Yes.
So let me tell you a quick story just to give you an even better sense. And I oftentimes use this video in my keynote addresses. There's footage of a firefight in Fallujah, and our troops are pinned down. They've already had a number of fatalities, soldiers killed. And all of a sudden, and this is all recorded by helmet cams, and a gentleman, a soldier, gets shot through the neck, and he's bleeding profusely. Now, these guys are pinned down, which means that they're surrounded and they're just being decimated. I mean, the last thing you want to do is stand up because you're a target. The medic jumps out of his foxhole without his helmet on, runs over to this guy who gets shot in the neck, grabs him in sand, throws him over his shoulder, and runs him across this field with bullets flying all around him, and puts him in a medevac helicopter. But wait, he puts him down, and before he turns around to run back and protect himself, he gives that soldier a kiss on the forehead.
Mm.
Now, do you think that soldier who got the kiss will ever forget that kiss on the forehead? He
Nope.
risked his life to grab you. He ran you over to get you out, to save you at his risk of his own life, and had the presence of mind then to know that what that soldier needed as much as medical attention was a kiss of love on the forehead.
Yep.
That's the
Right.
power
And he
of
did that,
compassion.
yeah.
That man
And
will
he
remember
would
that
have
for the
done
rest of
that.
his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had that compassion in his whole every fiber of his being to run through, and
Right.
being fired upon
Right.
at that time to save him. And that's the link I have up on the screen right there, YouTube link. So you can go there and you can watch it. I watched it. It's a shaky camera. It's real life. You know what I mean? It's a
It's
shaky
real life.
camera.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
but you see that kiss on the forehead at the end and
Oh my
everything.
God.
It's pretty amazing.
And how long? And so when people say to me in healthcare, I'd love to be more compassionate. I just don't have the time. I got 12 patients. I got things. I got rounds. I got hinted. But
Takes
time
one
out.
thing.
I got a little video to show you about a
Right.
soldier who's being shot at, carrying
Yeah.
a
And he
guy,
took the time.
and at the end of it, he gives him a kiss. How long did that kiss take? A
second.
nanosecond. And that's
Right.
the power of compassion right there and then.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
inspiring is that?
It really is.
Pretty
So
cool.
let me say that this link, just for anyone that's listening to audio only. So with the HTTPS
Backslash
Whatever.
YouTube YOUTU.be/EN 1 capital ZHMAND lowercase KG. Hit that. Type that in. Go watch it.
Yeah,
Trust me, you will be
Don't make
inspired
me
for
find
a
you
very
and kick
long
your butt.
time.
right.
Yep. Do it. For you,
Yep.
for
Do it.
friends, family, neighbors, do it. And
Do it.
and he won the Medal of Honor for it. And he was
Nice.
embarrassed to take it. He said, all I was doing was my job. I don't deserve a
Yep.
medal.
Yep.
He didn't want it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. I mean, again, it would be a second nature thing, and I don't know. It's not even a taught thing. I mean, it is kind of in our family. We were taught that. We were taught the golden rule and all that. But I do think it's just an instinctual thing. Like you were born knowing right from wrong. You were born, some people don't have it,
Well,
I don't think they will.
actually, we are born compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Right.
genetically bred to be compassionate. What got us through the prehistoric times when we were lunch for tyrannosauruses was
Yep.
somebody, caveman, turned to another group of cavemen and women and children and said, I noticed last night that one of your people got eaten by a tyrannosaurus. I have an idea. How about if you go to sleep tonight and I'll watch over you to take care of you? And then tell you what, how about you do the same for me? And we formed into communities to protect each other. Every single human being is genetically bred to be compassionate. When you put little kids, before they've learned not to do it for whatever reason, and one of those little kids starts crying, they run over and start hugging them and kissing them until they're, ooh, you're a boy. You don't do that to girls. Ooh, you shouldn't do that because that's a boy and you're a boy. Ooh, you shouldn't do that because you catch a disease. But their instinct, before they're taught otherwise, if they're taught otherwise, is to go over and comfort people. And comfort is another name for compassion. It's, I feel your pain, may I please do something to help it? And all I got at the moment is a hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we all
And the
want when
same
we're
thing,
hurt?
the same with the children and racism, too.
Of
Same
Those
course.
two
thing.
little boys who run to each other like from the end of the tank,
Yeah,
and they're like just
They don't know any
that's all
better.
they wanted. They're best buds. Like they don't care
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Until
And
mom
I
and
just wish
dad
that would stay.
maybe
till somebody
tells
says
them.
something stupid that needs a good smack in the front.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. So we need to encourage it. We need to support it.
Yep.
We need to acknowledge it, and we need to do more of it.
Yes.
Please, yes, we do.
Forceful. He said that when he's
Please.
go kick
I
somebody.
know,
I'll
I
be right
know.
behind him. Gina and I will be right there with him, kicking some booty.
Yeah.
Once
we,
they let me cross the border. And here's a little just FYI for everybody who's kind of going, I thought the borders were open. The borders are kind of sort of open, but it's just me who's not allowed to cross because I seem to cause so much trouble when I go places.
Well,
Like that.
no, my
that
mom
might
did.
be a wise decision.
It
Just
might
saying.
be.
That's
I
why they
mean-
won't let me in Hollywood. Could you imagine all the trouble I could cause down there? Wow.
Oy.
Well, it's a shame I
It would
didn't know
never
you when I was still in that business, and we could have made some trouble together because I made plenty.
Hot damn. We can always start something.
Well,
Oh,
you
I'm
and me
not difficult.
both. Let's
Okay,
start a movement, and let's call it
That's it.
Compassion Heals, and let's see if we can inspire people to be more of who they really are, which is
Okay.
kind, caring,
what a
and
good
compassionate.
idea.
Yes.
You just come
Agreed.
up with
What a
that now?
concept, right?
Yes, that's like an amazing concept. I swear this guy's brains. Oh, brains.
I know. I know.
He wouldn't tell by the look of him in the show. But
So you can
When you can see them.
It's available on Amazon. However, if you go to that website right above there, leetomlinson.com,
Yep.
sign up for that
For the
7-day challenge.
and
Do
he
an
will
act of
sign a book
kindness
and send it
every
to you.
day, and you'll
So
get a
long as
free
you're
And
not
the
in
book is
Canada.
free.
Yep. How about that? Right?
I'll pay
So
shipping.
how's that for kindness and compassion? And
I'll
that's
have
what
to pay
he's doing
shipping.
in here is sharing kindness and compassion. And it's not like we don't know about this stuff. It's just that we just seem to forget about this stuff.
It's
You know?
Yep.
it should
We
be
need
it
to
should
make it
like
a
you said it should be
priority.
second nature. It should be a priority. It should be the
Yep.
first thing.
Yep.
You get up in the
Yep.
morning, you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the ground, you go, oh, ow, oh, okay, I'm still alive. And then think, okay, how can I do
Yeah.
good today?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
And you know
sometimes
what?
it doesn't even need a thought. It just should be
Well,
an automatic thing.
And sometimes when you deny it to yourself, when you're in pain, rather than getting help, and if you need that, be compassionate with yourself because compassion
Could you say that
requires- we
louder so
look-
my sister can hear you next door?
I'll write it to her.
My
Get her my
daughter?
book. It says it in it. But again, it's a matter of habit and choice.
Yeah.
And we either want to be a factor that will improve the quality of life in the world, or we just want to piss and moan about it. I don't want to piss and moan. I want to see what I can do to improve that person's life, that person's life, that person's life, so that at the end of the day, I will have done something to make the world a better place. Period. End of
Yes.
story.
Well, you
Yes.
will be remembered, yes. And you'll be remembered for wonderful things,
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I think about that. I'm like, are we gonna be remembered like someone that learned something or we helped from one of our shows, Mama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We remembered in
I
that
think
way.
I'll be remembered for getting on people's nerves because I'd be like, come on, get your ass in gear.
not the bad thing.
Nobody
all I
knows
want to be
anything bad
remembered
about
for
me.
is he was a good guy. That's all I
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
He was a good human being. Period.
I
End of
will
story.
make people smile and giggle and laugh even at my funeral. That's all I gotta say.
Yep.
Y'all behave, watch. 'cause
that
this
is a
gonna be-
gift.
it's gonna be fun. Yep.
And that's
I
a
got
gift.
people lined up to
It's a
do some
gift.
beautiful. You know that song, Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead? That's what's gonna play as
I
I
do.
carry my coffin out of
You
the
have those little feet sticking out of the ground out of the top of the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Little feet on my
Ding-dong,
urn.
Louis. Yep, absolutely.
Hey, we'll
Yep.
bring some pre-night.
Yep.
There you go. You're gonna have fun.
Bring it back. Logan,
She made good cotton candy. Yes, Ashley, you're no. Ashley, you didn't make good cotton candy. You made
The best.
amazing cotton candy. out of this world delicious. Sorry, I'm addicted to cotton candy.
Yeah,
I can
and
buy 4
I'm
tubs about
sitting
this
here in the
big
States.
and eat them in an hour.
That's funny.
I know. Cotton candy and chocolate. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. The chocolate.
In the world of
Chocolate.
addictions, those are
Shut up,
good
Mama.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Oh
Definitely.
my God. Like me, I'm addicted to golf and adrenaline. Look where it's ended me. I mean, I've been in more hospitals than any 12 people you
Oh,
know, but I wouldn't
Honestly.
change a thing.
that's true. Because the thing is, if you didn't go through everything we've gone through in the past makes us who we are today. All the
Yes.
stupid stuff that I've done, been there, done that in my past. As I used to think, oh my God, I wish I could go back and change this. Now I know better. If I changed
Yes.
that then, I wouldn't be who I am now. So I like
Yes.
who I am now. Maybe not so
Yeah.
much the people in the past, but hey, you had to do
I know.
stupid stuff and get you had to be there and been there, done that to be where you are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a
Well,
night and
if you
day.
pay attention and learn,
Hmm.
you're improved. It's like, what does they say? When one door closes, another door opens, except most people are so fixated on the doors that close,
Close.
they
They
never
don't see the
notice
one
the
that
doors that
opens.
are opening.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's the difference. I could look back at this cancer thing and go, oh my God, shoot me. Or I could say, thanks God for that cancer because look what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's the way I
Yep.
choose to look at it. It opened my life to what I was meant to do when I was
Yep.
born and allowed me the opportunity to do it. That's as good as
Yep.
it gets, sports fans.
Exactly. Exactly.
That is so true. Well, we are at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to try and show your face again before
Sure.
we
Let me
end
Show the
it.
try. Why
handsome
not?
mug. Turn on the camera.
There we go. There he
Ta-da! There we
is.
go. And look, he's moving.
No
I wish
way.
we
Yes.
could have seen your face through this whole entire thing. And
We
I
got to
don't
do
know.
this
Go
again,
back
you
and see a
guys.
little bit. Yes, we
Yeah.
will.
We got to do it again because it just makes me, it's so frustrating to not have this go as smooth as, I can't even say it, as smoothly and as cohesively as I'd like it to be, and that you deserve and your listeners deserve. So someday, some way, somehow, let's
Next
do
book
it
we'll do it
again and
again.
let's get into it
Get you
again.
right into a book.
All right.
Right. We will make
Yeah.
this happen again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then
Never know.
Please,
hopefully
And this
please.
is one of the reasons why we say pay it, subscribe to our YouTube channel because you never know, people. He might be on one of our pop-up shows.
that's right.
Just
Yeah,
saying.
not that because I mean my regular shows
Dun,
they
dun,
just
dun, 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 dun.
yeah, but we
Anything
do
I can do. You guys are wonderful. And
Thank you.
anything you want, I'm available.
Ooh.
Oh, I thank you so much. But I do
Just
have one
ask.
final question for you, and that is
What?
okay.
What's next?
What's next for you? What's next for the
Yeah.
movement? Do you have another book coming
How
out?
can we help?
What's happening?
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you for that question. What's next for me is two things. One is, given my production background, we're going to do two things. My goal has been to reach 22 million people with my message because of the comments and the impact that I seem to be having with it. So we're going to be filming those so that we can make them available to healthcare organizations to reach every one of those 20
Nice.
plus million healthcare professionals with those talks. So that's number one, is we're going to produce those. It won't just be a recording and be on stage. It'll be a production that will make it as good as it humanly possibly can be. Secondly,
Nice.
is we are producing a feature-length documentary to share or reveal, whatever the words are, the heart, science, and business of compassion. Reveal the scientific evidence of the value for giver, receiver, and the business in which their lives intersect. So
Yeah.
we're in the process right now of raising the production funds to do that. We have distribution from a major streaming distributor. Merely have to raise money to be able to make that movie. So those are the things, and obviously I still speak because it's the most fun thing that I do. Speaking to health is the most you can imagine. So I'll still be doing that. And yes, I'm working on a second book on burnout.
Nice.
And burnout back to millions.
Okay.
And we're working on my keynotes to make them available. And we're working on raising the funding for the documentary series on the heart, science, and business. So if anybody knows any corporate sponsors that want to be associated with compassion and bringing back into healthcare in the world and reveal scientific facts about it, and the benefits for everybody, let us know. We'd love to involve them in the process of making that movie and making it available not to healthcare workers, but to every man, woman, and child on the face of the planet, to inspire them to be the most compassionate selves that they were born to be. So that's what's next.
Well,
and what did you just
in
drop?
any way, shape, or form, if we can help, Gina and I can help. Y'all can email
Right,
us,
if
and you
anybody-
can
yeah.
Facebook message us. If
Right.
anybody out there wants to help, there is Lee Tomlinson. Is it .com?
Yeah, Lisa,
You
yeah.
know, and if you can't
Yes.
remember his
Yes.
What was that, Mike?
He's on Facebook.
Well-
The big thing fell over here all by itself.
No, it wasn't.
LeeTomlinson.com.
There you go.
LeeTomlinson.com. Join the movement.
That's it.
Join
Get
the
your butts in
Passion
gear,
Heals
people.
movement and help us bring it into the world.
Yeah, and if you guys do know of any big, or if you work in any big corporation and that they would be interested in sponsoring or donating or anything like that, you can let me know,
Yes.
Mama know, we'll let Lee know. Or if you can't get in touch with Lee or you can't remember, but you remember us, right? So please, let's help him out. He's helping all these other people.
You.
Let's help him.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're a 501c3, so anything that you monetarily, anything that you contribute directly or indirectly is
tax
deductible. So because we are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization, the Compassion Heals movement. So you can get great deductions off of your income tax.
Exactly, and this is a good time to do that because people are looking for tax deductions at the end of the year. Because trust me, for years of being a businesswoman, I know that we were always, what we need, if we have this much money, we need to get that down. You don't want to give the government that money. You'd rather give that money to a good cause and have it a deduction.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
And
Let's
we're an
do
open
this.
book. Doesn't go in my pocket. It goes to advance the Compassion Heals movement, period.
Right. Wonderful.
So let's stick together.
All good things.
It's the only thing we can do to improve the quality of life in the world. There is nothing else.
Yes. Doesn't take much.
Be kind.
That's right. And be kind. Yeah. Do your
Period.
7 acts of kindness. Get your free book. Be kind in general.
Yep.
And especially at this time of year,
Yep.
even if it's a tough time of year, to be kind, and especially if you're depressed or anything like that. But you know what? Reach out to people because they're there for you. You know, and
connect.
Yeah.
Connect.
Yeah.
Be your natural, loving self for them, for you, and for the world.
Amen. Amen. On that note, I'm going to play our exit video. Lee, hang there for a minute, and all you guys, we'll see y'all next week.
I'm hanging.
Yep.
All right. Ciao for now. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our Anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.